working to connect a region of over 600 bridges between our lands.
Welcome to ASEAN in Focus. I'm Judith Yamera, delivering to you the latest news in and around the ASEAN region. On today's headlines. The number of families in 3 provinces affected by the eruption of Taal volcano has climbed to 50,599, or equivalent to 203,763 persons. The National Disaster Risk Reduction Management Council, or the NDR-RMC, reported. China and Myanmar inked dozens of mammoth infrastructure and trade deals after a meeting Saturday between President Xi Jinping and fallen rights icon Aung San Suu Kyi. And Filipinos turned volcanoes' ash, plastic trash into bricks. The number of families in 3 provinces affected by the eruption of the Taal volcano has climbed to 50,599, or equivalent to 203,763 persons. The National Disaster Risk Reduction Management Council, or the NDR-RMC, reported. As of 6 a.m. Monday, NDR-RMC's update shows that about 26,767 families, or 104,377 individuals, are in 408 evacuation centers, while 17,391 families, or 69,755 persons, are aided outside. The remaining families whose houses are within the 14-kilometer danger zone took shelter with their relatives. This number of affected families from the provinces of Batangas, Cavite, and Laguna is higher than the 22,472 reported Friday last week. Damage to agriculture in the 3 provinces was placed at 3,061,424,549. The provincial governments of Batangas declared a state of calamity effective January 13 and Cavite on January 15. Several towns in Batangas, including Agoncillo, Balete, Santa Teresita, Talisay, and San Nicolas, are under total lockdown amid a continuing threat of the hazardous eruption of Taal volcano. The towns of Lemery, Taal, and Laurel are in partial lockdown. Meanwhile, Malacanang is open to a lawmaker's proposal to create a commission that will oversee the rehabilitation of areas in Batangas and Cavite affected by Taal volcano's eruption. Senate President Pro Tempore Ralph Recto, a native of Batangas, earlier expressed his intention to file a bill creating Taal Commission to be patterned after the Pinatubo Commission that helped victims of the 1991 volcano eruption in central Luzon. Panelo said it will be up to President Rodrigo Duterte to decide whether he will certify the soon-to-be-filed bill as urgent. Under Republic Act 7637, the Mount Pinatubo Assistance, Resettlement and Development Commission was created in 1992, which set aside 10 billion peso funds to help victims and the communities affected by Mount Pinatubo's eruption. The 11-member commission had the power to formulate policies and plans for the relief, rehabilitation, resettlement, and livelihood services, as well as infrastructure support in affected areas in central Luzon. However, Panelo rejected the suggestion of Deputy Speaker and One Pacman Party List Representative Mikey Romero to create a Taal task force to centralize efforts to address the crisis. Panelo said he doesn't see a need for that because government efforts are already in place. Panelo also assured that the Office of the President is open to releasing more funds for those affected by Taal volcano's unrest. On Monday, January 20, Duterte is expected to lead the ceremonial distribution of food packs to the families affected by the Taal volcano eruption at the PUP Gymnasium in Santo Tomas, Batangas. In other news, a Quezon City Regional Trial Court or RTC has ordered the arraignment on Tuesday of 2 more persons accused in the Maguindanao massacre case. In an order dated January 17th, QC-RTC Branch 221 Judge Jocelyn Solis Reyes set the arraignment of Kagi Faizal alias Faizal Di Maucom and Gambayan M. Kasim alias Lori Ali and ordered their transfer to Camp Bagong Diwa in Bicutan, Taguig City from Parang Municipal Police Station in Maguindanao. The two were arrested last January 6 and January 9th, respectively, or 2 weeks after the court handed down its verdict on the case. Under Secretary Joel Egco, Executive Director of Presidential Task Force on Media Security, said the government would continue to hunt other suspects who remain at large. On December 19th last year, Solis Reyes convicted 28 people, including Datu Andal Unsay Ampatuan, Datu Anwares Sajid Ulo Ampatuan, Datu Anwar Ampatuan Sr., and Datu Anwar EP Ampatuan Jr. of murder over the massacre. Around 80 out of more than 197 suspects who were charged remain at large. Seven people drowned and 3 others are missing after a bridge collapsed on Indonesia's Sumatra Island, the disaster agency said on Monday. Some 30 people, mostly students, were on the bridge Sunday afternoon in the town of Kaur when the newly built crossing suddenly collapsed, hurling some teens into the water below while others clutched onto the railing. The water level in the river below the bridge was higher than usual, with strong currents after torrential downpours pounded the region. Some students who fell into the water were rescued, while a search and rescue team scoured a 20-kilometer radius to find the missing victims, all teenagers, he added. Parts of the Southeast Asian archipelago have been deluged with torrential downpours as the rainy season kicks into high gear. In and around the capital, Jakarta, some 67 people were killed this month as record rains triggered flooding and landslides around the capital region. Lax construction standards have raised widespread concerns about building and construction safety in Indonesia.
Now in its 51st year, Eagle Broadcasting Corporation has held various child care and development programs. With the support of participating organizations and sponsors, EBC conducted the following activities. Sports clinic program wherein basketball coaches and players taught students the importance of discipline.
So if I say 3 claps, 2 claps, 1, 2, 3, 0.
Confidence,
Fire! Stance!
and teamwork. Free haircut, free massage, feeding programs, school supplies distribution, and storytelling spearheaded by Net25 Kids.
Sa kanya, nagkasakit po.
Kasakit.
EBC Cares, enabling a better community.
Welcome back. President Rodrigo Duterte is among the 9 state leaders invited to attend the upcoming U.S. Association of Southeast Asian Nations, or the ASEAN Summit in Las Vegas on March 14th, Malacanang bared on Sunday. In a press statement, Malacanang said the invitation was extended by U.S. President Donald Trump to Duterte and the other 9 leaders of the regional intergovernmental organization. The invitation was first conveyed during the ASEAN-US meeting at the ASEAN Summit and related summits in Bangkok last November. The U.S. reminded the leaders of the invitation through a letter dated January 9. In the letter, Trump said the summit will provide an excellent opportunity for U.S. to broaden and deepen cooperation on matters of great importance to the nearly 1 billion people in the United States and ASEAN nations that they have the privilege to represent. Trump has repeatedly invited Duterte to the U.S. since April 2017. The 2 leaders met for the first time during the 31st ASEAN Summit in Manila on November 2017. In September 2019, a presidential spokesperson, Salvador Panelo, said Duterte and Trump had the same leadership style, which is why they share respect for each other. Should Duterte accept Trump's invitation, their meeting is expected to reaffirm the long-standing alliance between the Philippines and the U.S. Panelo said it is still unclear if Duterte accepted Trump's invitation. Trump's invitation to Duterte came despite a recent U.S. legislation banning entry of all Philippine officials linked to the arrest and continued detention of Senator Laila de Lima. Meanwhile, China and Myanmar inked dozens of mammoth infrastructure and trade deals after a meeting Saturday between President Xi Jinping and fallen rights icon Aung San Suu Kyi, as Beijing doubles down on its support for a government under fire for its treatment of Rohingya Muslims. The Chinese leader's 2-day state visit to Myanmar's purpose-built capital comes as Western investors cast a wide berth around the country due to the Rohingya crisis, a 2017 military crackdown on the Muslim minority, which UN investigators have called genocide, forced some 740,000 people over the border into Bangladesh. Beijing has stood strongly beside Myanmar, and the Asian giant is now the country's largest investor, even as distrust of its ambitions lingers among the public. More than 30 agreements were signed Saturday on Xi's final day of his visit, with Suu Kyi and Xi seated across from each other on long tables alongside related ministers. Details on the amount of the package were scant, but among the 33 deals was a concession and shareholders agreement on the $1.3 billion deep-sea port and economic zone. There was also a letter of intent for new urban development in Myanmar's biggest city, Yangon, and feasibility studies for rail links. The aim is to carve out a so-called China-Myanmar economic corridor, a path of infrastructure from China's landlocked south to Myanmar's western Rakhine state, which would serve as Beijing's long-awaited gateway to the Indian Ocean. Meanwhile, protesters gather in downtown Yangon against any reinstatement controversial Beijing-backed mega dam in northern Myanmar as China's President Xi Jinping visits. They held signs calling for termination of the $3.6 billion Myitsone project, which was not mentioned in signed deals during the visit. The 6,000-megawatt dam project was suspended in 2011 in the face of nationwide condemnation. It is believed to have been a personal affront to Xi, who signed a deal with Myanmar's then military junta as vice president in 2009. Watch this.
Here, and today I'm here at the Japanese Gardens in Portland, Oregon. If you want to experience greenery and unique landscaping, as well as peace, tranquility, tune in to EBC Digital Nest. I'm Rio Marquio, and I'm 1 with 25.
Para sa mga viewers namin sa Middle East at North Africa via OSN, hello po sa inyong lahat dyan. Ako po si Sam Cepeda.
Ako po si Olivia Nadit Figueroa at araw-araw tayong magkasama sa Mata ng Agila.
Dito po sa Net25 at OSN, sigurado at home ka dito.
What is Bar Ipiel, one of the most famous landmarks here in Sabamar North. And if you want to see more of the tourist spots like this, just tune into Digital Nest every Tuesday and Thursday, 7:30 p.m. I'm managing Mihia from Sabamar, Norway. Always fun, 25.
Net25 shows live and on demand anytime, anywhere, on any mobile device on OSN Play.
Welcome back. Ash spewed by a Philippine volcano is being mixed with plastic waste to make bricks and an inventive response to the country's persistent problems of pollution and frequent natural disasters. Environment officials did not just clean up the mess but decided to combine the ash with sand, cement, and discarded plastic to form about 5,000 bricks per day. for local buildings or projects. Watch this.
Instead of white sand, unti-untiin mo, palitan mo ng asphalt. So, eventually, nakuha namin yung we call it formulation, na yung proportion niya, ayan, nagagawa na natin.
That is the latest news in the Southeast Asian nations. Stay updated about the ASEAN region. I'm Judith Imera and I'm 1 with 25.